And all the way walking through that gas station, and all the way while I'm going to the restroom and washing my hands, we had a debate in my mind saying, "You're wrong. That is not who I am." Hello and welcome to Walk Right, a Path to Healing. I am Steve, your host. I am so happy that you're here today. Hey, this devotional podcast hopefully is designed to help you along with your spiritual journey, as well as lift your spirits up in your road to recovery. I'm hopeful by the end of this show that your heart's just a little bit bigger and you know more a little bit about Jesus Christ. So let's get started. Let's discover how we can walk right towards a life of living and loving in the kingdom today. Today's episode is called Do the Right Thing. Just got to do the right thing. We're going to be in James 4, verse 17 today, if you want to make your way over there. But as we start every podcast, here is your story. So a few weeks ago, I was in Oklahoma, and it was raining, kind of windy, and it was cold that day. Had that front moving through that we all experienced. And I stopped into a gas station. I was going to use the restroom, get something to drink. And I pulled up, got out of the car, started walking up to the door, and there was this young lady just rummaging through a trash bag. Can't find what she's looking for. Start to get the feeling that, she's under some kind of drug abuse. And I just walked by her and walked into the store. And Jesus says, I love her. And I said, I know you do, Jesus. I see that in her. And he's like, well, you can help her. And I was like, okay, I can help her. I only have $2 on me. I'll have to go to the ATM, get some cash out. Then I'm going to have to go buy something more just to get some extra cash. Because, I'm not going to give her $20, because that's just how we think, right? So true. So true. And mind you, I'm going to the restroom. And this is all playing off in my head, this whole conversation. And Jesus is like, why is everything with money with you people? He's like, giving somebody a few dollars or $5 or $10 or whatever and going on with your day, or maybe saying a prayer with them and going on with your day. Is that really the kingdom? Is that really the right thing? And I was convicted right there going to the bathroom. I washed my hands and I walked back outside and I came up to that young lady and I said, ma'am, it is cold and windy. Let's go in and let's get you something to eat. And she was like, that would be great. Now, there was a Subway attached to this gas station. And I went in and I kindly said, just order whatever you want. And at that point, she did. You could just see in her mannerisms that she was high on something. And she's obviously living out of a bag. And I just the spirit just overcame. And as we were wrapping things up at the counter there, I just looked at her and I said, ma'am, Jesus wants me to tell you that he loves you and he thinks you're amazing. And he doesn't want you in any of this mess that you're in. He loves you so much, and you could just turn to him and he'll help you get out of this. This stronghold has nothing on you. And she started to cry and gave me a big hug. And I paid for her meal. And I walked on. As I got back in my car, Jesus was like, that's the right thing to do. That's the kingdom. That's love. And that will do more than $5 will ever do. And that's how I want you to see everybody. And that's how I want you to interact with everybody. And I bring you up that story not to give me any credit, not to be like, oh, look at me. No, I bring up that story because it's valid to what I'm bringing up today. I don't do the right thing all the time. And I pray for people and I love on people, but I never take the time like I took that time. I should do it more. I should do the right thing. I should live in the kingdom. You know, she was brought to tears by the love of God, not by what I did. People probably buy her stuff all the time. But I told her that Jesus loves her. I saw her in that moment as Jesus did. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what kingdom living is about. That's what love is. You see, in James chapter 4, verse 17 says, so if you know of an opportunity to do the right thing today, yet you refrain from doing it, you're guilty of sin. So here in chapter 4, James is talking about just living close to God and being close to God. And right before this saying right here, up in verse 13, he's talking about, listen, you want to plan your days. You want to boast about what you're going to do tomorrow. You're going to go over here and do this. You're going to go over here and do that. You're going to do all these things. And you don't even know if you have tomorrow. You don't even know if you're going to make it to tomorrow. You have no clue what tomorrow may bring, for your fleeting life is but a warm breath of air that is visible in the cold only for a moment, and then it vanishes. Instead, we should say, our tomorrow's in the Lord's hands. And if he's willing, we live life to its fullest and do this or that. But we boast in our ignorance. We plan our own thing. We do what we're going to do. And we just don't see the people. We just don't see the kingdom. So that's why he goes down to this verse and says, so look, if you know of an opportunity to do the right thing today, yet you refrain from doing it, you're guilty of sin. Because you're making all these plans about yourself and what you're going to do tomorrow, and it has nothing to do with the kingdom. Live in the moment. Live in today. That's all we're asked to do. Now let me bring you to one of the red flags in this verse, and it's, of course, you're guilty of sin. Because when we think of sin, or most of us that have been grown up in Western Christianity, we think of sin as bad things. You do bad stuff. You're a bad person because you sin. We have to get off of that thought process, because a lot of people still, and I did this for most of my life, a lot of people still think that the word sin is condemnation and judgment, and fear and anxiety all come from that word. Because I'm not doing the right thing, and I'm wrong, and I got to modify my behavior. I can't do all these things. I got to watch out. And you know what happens when the law brings death? And I mean, when you try to just do all that stuff, you're going to stumble and fall even further. It says, so if you know of an opportunity to do the right thing today, yet you refrain from doing it, you're guilty of sin. And what that means is, look, if you know you have an opportunity to do something like I did, I saw Jesus look at this girl. I saw her through his eyes. I had an opportunity to do the right thing. But if I would have went on and not listened and not done it, I'm guilty of sin. I'm guilty of doing wrong. And then I have to live in condemnation and anxiety and everything else because I didn't do something. No, it says you're guilty of being the opposite of what I created you to be. You're guilty of not being your identity, who I created you to be. Your identity is in me, so you should go out and live as I lived. You should go out and be light like I was light. You should go out and be love like I was love. And when that opportunity came up, you did it. You questioned it, but you did it. That is the opportunities we're talking about. And we may not all have an opportunity to go be in that exact situation, but you have an opportunity to talk right to your kids. In that moment, what are you going to do? You have the opportunity to talk right to your spouse. You have the opportunity to not be self-centered and put somebody else first holding a door for somebody, saying hi to somebody, allowing somebody to step in front of you in a line. I mean, these are all little things that are our true identity. And when we know of an opportunity, when you see somebody struggling and you don't help them, that's when your identity is not what it was created to be. That's what you're guilty of. You're guilty of not being Christ-like when you were created to be Christ-like. Do the right thing today. Do the right thing every day, but live in the moment today. Jesus, will you put somebody in front of me today that I can partake in the kingdom with, that I can show them your love, I can show them who Jesus is. Whether it's somebody at Walmart, the gas station, at a fast food place, whether it's at work, whether it's a customer, wherever you are, you have the opportunity to do the right thing. Now, in our recovery process, we have the opportunity to do the right thing. We can have the opportunity to believe that we're less than and go back to overeating, or go back to look at that porn on the computer, or go back to drinking, or go back to using drugs, or whatever it is we revert to when we feel that feeling of less than and trying to fill that void. Or we could do the right thing and not do that stuff today. That's not behavior modification. That's living Christ. That's letting him have the power to talk to you and work you through those situations. And if you do take a drink, or you do take a drug, or you do look on the computer, you're guilty of sin. But not the sin that you're thinking of, and not the sin of condemnation and judgment. You're guilty of doing the opposite of who you're created to be. You're believing that lie that we've talked about in other episodes. We have to understand that when the Bible says we're to walk in the light as he walked in the light, that means that we're exactly like him. We should walk in the light like he walked in the light. It didn't say walk in the light kind of close to how he walked in the light. It didn't say walk in the light, you'll almost walk in the light like Jesus. He said walk in the light as he walked in the light. And the more I grow, the more that I get transformed, the more that I'm seeing the kingdom realm, the more that I'm seeing everybody through the eyes of Jesus. And the more compassion I have, and the more compassion you should have, and the more love I have, and the more love you should have. And we should start doing these things day by day, taking it day by day, knowing of the opportunity to do the right thing. And if you know, you know. You wake up to want to do the right thing, yes. I don't wake up trying not to sin today. I don't wake up going, oh my gosh, I got to watch what that doesn't, cross my mind at this point anymore. I try to wake up and put on this suit and says, hey, let's go partake in the kingdom today. And you know what? I'm human and I fail. But I love when he catches me. And I love when he debates me. And I love when he fights with me. And all the way walking through that gas station, and all the way while I'm going to the restroom and washing my hands, we had a debate in my mind saying, you're wrong. That is not who I am. Sure, I'd appreciate it if you gave her a couple bucks. But what she needs is love. What she needs is light. What she needs is somebody to do the right thing. You know how many people walked in and out of that gas station, probably condemning her? Oh, if I give her money, she's just going to spend it on drugs. Oh, if I do this or that. Okay, I get it. We've all been there. Jesus just wanted me to love her that day, like he would have loved her. And it's up for them two to do the rest. I did my part. I can't change her. Only he can. But I can sure introduce her to him, which hopefully I did. Do the right thing today. And when you see it and you don't do it, you're not in trouble. You just missed an opportunity to be like Christ. I want to thank you for joining me on this journey through Walk Right today. Remember, every step counts. And if you found this episode valuable, or, it sparked something in your heart, please share, please like, please follow. Please do all those things to help me get the word out. And until the next episode, remember, you're loved, you're holy, and I'll see you again soon. God bless.